It also means that we are back to thinking about our heart, our hearts. Now, if you might remember from our day 5, we were thinking about our heart in the sense of noticing where we do things that our heart is full or filled somewhat, and where there are things throughout our day that we really enjoy or love, and how often they occur. Now, I asked you last time to maybe, if you did that, to reflect at the end of the day, what it was that you did that you loved, and maybe why you loved it. So for example, it could be that you went for a walk, and the thing that you loved about it is that, it gets you out for fresh air. You also love the route. You get to see the trees, the greenery, that sort of thing. Maybe it's the chat with your friend. Maybe that friend boosts you up, makes you feel good, reminds you of that you've got that connection, that you have a laugh, whatever it is. And those are all really positive contributions to our sense of calm. Now, all of the tips that I've been giving you are things that help me on a day-to-day basis, or things that have kind of been pivot points for me in terms of my own stress levels and managing the pressures that I would put on myself. So to follow on from our last heart exercise, wasn't cardio, might be yours, is to actually take that list. So maybe if you've done this for a few days, you might have gathered a few things that you actually love to do and that actually make you feel good. And what I started to do was I actually started to schedule in those things, or I started to at least have reminders. So it could be that you use an app on your phone. I can recommend those. There's plenty of them. Just go with what feels good for you. You might want to make notes on your phone. You might want to have an actual journal. You might want to even put something on your wall to consciously remind you to schedule in those things. Now, for someone like me, who is a bit of a to-do list person, we've chatted about this, and would be like, do, gotta get this, tick things off, tick things off, tick things off. It's always that sense, when I'm in that state, it's that sense of like, oh, I've just got to get through to the end of the list, and then, oh, it's done. But then it never really ends. So this isn't intended to be like something else to do. I would actually separate it from your to-do list, and more something you just need that reminder to do for yourself. It's not to tick off for just life in general. And the reason for that is that, especially when I was in kind of like peak stress, detached, disconnected mode, I found it really difficult to remember the things that were actually good for me, which sounds weird, doesn't it? But I think some people are really, really good at going, oh, do you know what, I'm just going to go chill out, or I'm just going to put on my favourite film. And that just didn't come naturally to me at all. And maybe that does to you, so that's great. But by scheduling it or having a reminder, it meant that I was at least getting into the habit of doing it. And yes, I was having to be reminded to do it, but I think that was an important first step for me in terms of, just actually doing it. Because otherwise I would blaze on, and then get to either burnout or, a random day off and be like, oh, well, I don't know what to do to make myself feel good, because my brain was fried and it's just hard to think of what I wanted to do because it's just exhaustion. So that's why I recommend this. Like I say, not to just give you more stuff to tick off, but just to have that visual reminder of like, schedule it in. So whether it's that every morning, if for you it was a walk, maybe you choose to do that every morning so that, you've done that great thing for yourself. It might be that you're an afternoon bunny. Whatever works for you. Maybe it's, the once a week chat with that person. Whatever the example is, there are ways to just pepper it in. And again, this was something for me initially that I had resistance with, because I had a feeling of time constraint of like, yeah, but I've got other things to do. But by committing to that, you're really committing to your sense of calm. So find the things that you really, really love to do. They can be simple things. Find the things that bring you joy, or the people who bring you joy, and figure out why that is. That's from our last video on the heart. And then this video is really about you actually consciously scheduling those things in, reminding yourself to do something good, and at least cultivate the habit of giving yourself goodness in aid of our sense of calm. So I hope you found that helpful. I'd love to hear from you. And oh my goodness, we're almost at the end of 12